Let's discuss this now. Kash Patel, by conservatives and liberals alike, in the wake of the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk, is being questioned. Some people calling for his resignation, and he didn't seem to display the leadership that is required after such a nationally viewed tragedy takes place. Headlines popped up like this, that he was kind of losing his cool during the investigation before the killer was caught. FBI Director Kash Patel berated agents in profanity-laced video call, accusing them of withholding info on Kirk case. And that just is only to give you a little bit, bring you in the room a little bit about the hecticness and the chaos as the more consequential elements I'll get to were taking place. He was calling and screaming at people and panicking because he was starting to be questioned. That I think this is the first time the collective political discourse was on something the FBI was doing so directly to the extent that it was, and it reminded a lot of people and showed to a lot of his previous supporters that he is not the leader you want at the top of such an important agency. Now, the conservatives critical of him probably wouldn't replace him with somebody that I would feel good about, but at least many of us are feeling the same way, that there wasn't much leadership displayed. Kash Patel's FBI is a total mess was a title in Public Notice. Justin Glaw, writing a new lawsuit, indicates he's too busy chasing online clout to notice. And this outlines how the purges that have been happening at the FBI, him doing a lot of stuff that's just in the interest of either making Trump happy or throwing red meat to the base, settling scores, is undermining the readiness of the agency. Obviously, if you push out a bunch of career experts and longtime public servants and law enforcement figures with no plan to thoughtfully replace them in a timely manner with similarly qualified people, you can imagine that's not going to be great for the agency. But why has he been doing it? Because he is settling scores and doesn't want to be challenged and is pursuing online clout. The lawsuit filed on Wednesday paints a disturbing portrait of a political purge within the FBI carried out over the last 9 months at the alleged direction of the White House that targets agents who worked on the investigations into Russian interference in the 2016 election, the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, the classified documents case and ensuing raid at Mar-a-Lago, and anyone who voted for Kamala Harris or harbors personal political views favoring Democrats. And this is causing a lot of chaos to the point where he's being sued by former figures at the FBI for their alleging wrongful termination. I'll show you this CNN reporting where they talk about Steve Bannon, who was questioning Kash Patel during the investigation into Kirk's assassin. While we watch, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate the show.
Surprising, actually, to hear the president announce it this morning. Obviously, it moved quickly because of the family's involvement. Some on the right have been criticizing the FBI director who was there with the governor today about basically how he's been handling this. Steve Bannon is who I'm thinking of. I want people to listen to what he had to say on his show today.
I don't know why Kash flew out there, thousands of miles to give us, hey, working partnerships and our great partnership in Utah. Okay, I got that. No offense to the law enforcement guys in the future of this. The public assumes that you're working together as partnerships. Charlie Kirk was assassinated in cold blood by a left-wing Antifa affiliated or Antifa aligned person. Okay? We want to find out about him. We want more details about him.
I didn't hear law enforcement say Antifa today when they were talking about what they did know about him. Obviously, they've only had him for less than 24 hours, so we'll see how that plays out. But I wonder, given Kash Patel flew out there, which Andrew McCabe said is unusual for the FBI director typically to do, what you've been hearing about the role that he's played in this, the confusing messages about a suspect in custody, a person of interest, that were contradicting what other people were saying.
Yeah, look, just first of all, as you noted, there has been a significant uptick in political violence. There have been Democrats who have been victims. There have been Republicans who have been victims. We still have a lot to learn about this, and what happened to Charlie Kirk was horrific. Watching it, it's still, I think a lot of people are still processing it, especially because this was so online. He is, in terms of people seeing it, he has 2 small children. that, I think, is factoring into some of the responses in terms of people are learning things in real time very quickly about what takes place with law enforcement these days. And you have somebody like an FBI director who is very online, who comes from an online world and is pretty new to law enforcement from this side. And there is a lot of frustration among Republicans that I have heard and with administration officials that there was such a lag time in capturing this person who...
Yeah, and the outward-facing communications was just so hectic and so confusing. You have Dan Abrams, who I would say is kind of more in the middle.
The comment that I have is that it is clear Kash Patel is in way over his head. He is not up to the job of FBI director.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that for quite some time, but I think a lot of people watching how this was handled are coming to a similar conclusion. Christopher Rufo, the powerful conservative activist and Manhattan Institute senior fellow, called for the FBI director Kash Patel's ouster in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination and the investigation that eventually led to the arrest of his alleged murderer. So a prominent conservative there. And then one, I don't know what to make of this, but one anecdote that was going around was sort of viral. Kash Patel reportedly dined at fancy NYC restaurant hours after Charlie Kirk's killing, which just seems to be a strange decision. You would think he would be postponing any fancy plans to work on the investigation. Because it's so important after something like that, you know the person's literally running away in that moment to show leadership. And that was according to NBC News. So, again, this is all eyes were on the FBI for a moment, and they ultimately got the shooter. Now, it was as a result of the family turning in the shooter, but eventually got him. And we're starting, maybe a lot of people are seeing for the first time, but we've been seeing for a while that when you prioritize politics and retribution, and when you have this, the more people we can push out of an institution, the better, because they're all deep state actors anyways. And anyone who is just assigned to work on or was working on a case that we didn't like the implications for someone that we liked, like anyone investigating January 6th or people who were leading the investigation to Russian interference or Trump's Mar-a-Lago document case, that all of them need to be pushed out no matter how much experience and how much value they bring to the agency. That type of mindset, who knows if it had any direct impact on this? A lot of this is just on a PR front. It was really chaotic to watch. And Kash Patel specifically, people were noting that. But we have to keep front of mind that there are going to be so many less publicized responsibilities of the FBI that now they're not going to be able to address as effectively as before because of the chaos at this institution.